Gonna be honest, I was having a bit of a crappy day. But then, this happened. Oh yeah. Cue that intro. Well, hello there, everybody. I'm Photo Dave, and this is Toypixx. And whether this is your first or 100th time on the channel, Toypixx is all about action figure photography. So I'll be talking action figures and photography. I'll be talking about why I collect certain lines, things going on in the industry, a little bit of editorial type stuff, and then when it comes to photography, I'll be showing some lighting tips and tricks, some behind the scenes, some Photoshop tutorials. So if any of that stuff sounds cool to you, go ahead and click that subscribe button while I tell you why today was kind of a crappy day until I saw those reissues pop up. So check this out. I've got a lump on my head, and I didn't do anything. Like, I didn't bump my head or anything like that. And I've got things like lumps starting to show up on the left side of my head, and I'm going, oh no, this could be really bad. So yesterday, I called the doctor, and I'm like, okay, doc, get me in. Let's do this. And so I went to see the doc today, thinking the worst, but it ended up just being shingles. And yes, shingles suck. The fact that I'm actually able to talk and even stand up right now, kind of miraculous considering the rest of the day so far. But it's a whole lot better than the alternative. And when I was scrolling Instagram while just lazing around and saw those reissues, I was like, I gotta make this video. So, let's do it. Now, there are two ways to run an action figure line. The first way, and probably the one that most of us are familiar with, let's see, manipulate people by using a ton of repaints and reissues with less accurate paint jobs, not make well-known versions until people buy lesser-known ones, and make sure people need to go back to get figures they don't want because they came with that one accessory they do need. We can come up with a few lines that do that. The next way is to not manipulate people by doing your best to hit a home run every time while reissuing popular figures with subtle improvements. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Mafex. Now honestly, what got me thinking about even the content of this video is seeing that Mafex is reissuing Spider-Man and Venom. I thought that was incredible. This is a company that truly cares about its customer, and maybe not. Maybe they don't truly care about the customer. Maybe they see the aftermarket prices on eBay and sites like that and think, wow, man, we can really reissue these things again and again and again until everybody that's got them wants them. Now, that's good for the customer because suddenly we're not having to pay $300, $400 for something that came out just a couple years ago that we missed. Now, for me personally, I'm ecstatic about these. The only things I really need now that I missed are Deadpool, Tiger Stripe Wolvie, and Carnage. So I'm geeked about that. And the fact that Mafex, when they do these reissues, they try and do some touch-ups. For instance, the reissues I can think of this year already. The two Mafex Boba Fett's and the two Hush Batmans. Both of the Batmans, it looks like they tried to tighten down, at least the blue one. Maybe the black one was already kosher. But the blue one, they tried to tighten down the cape so the wire worked better. Oh, Superman as well. They reissued Superman, the Hush Superman. And they tried to adjust his colors a little bit. There's all kinds of things they do. It's not like they reissue a figure with a whole different paint scheme that totally throws it off and now it doesn't look like it goes with your other figures. They reissue fake figures with subtle tweaks, subtle adjustments to just try and actually make them better. This is a company that knows that the bottom line is all about making sure the customer gets exactly what the customer wants, even if they have to reissue a few figures to make that happen. And to me, that's just incredible, because a lot of companies, they just don't do it that way. Right now, if somebody were to say, get rid of all your collections except one, what would I keep? I'd keep Mafex. Period. Bar none. No question. Whew! Yeah. Of course, it would be silly to not bring up price and why Mafex is able to do things that other companies aren't able to do. And I fully acknowledge that, but keep in mind, I'm in it for the photography. And what Mafex does just nails it every time as far as photography is concerned. So, let's talk price. One, they are between 2 to 3 times the cost of a typical action figure line in the US right now. That's because, in part, I'm sure, they do get pretty much new molds every time. There are parts, there is some parts reuse. Words, you know, they'll kick you every time. But there is some parts reuse, but overall, that's just stuff that makes sense. If they see it and think it just makes sense to reuse this, then game on, they'll do it. Totally cool with that. I have no problem. It's when other companies, it doesn't make any sense to do it, but they do it anyway. Mafex isn't like that. Plus, you get just tons of accessories, tons of hands, a couple heads, you get weapons, you get articulation that, in my mind, truly is second to none, and that's just sweet to me. I'm just a big fan of that. Now, I understand that when it comes to these figures, they're more serving a collectibles market, whereas the action figure lines in the US that I might be talking about are more serving the kids' markets. I mean, they do try to do things for the collectors from time to time, but overall, it's a kids' line, and they gotta make sure the kids are buying them. So, there is that, and I totally understand that, and I'm cool with that. I have no problem. It's just, with Mafex, I feel like you get a perfect figure out of the gate. With other lines, I feel like we're not going to give you quite the perfect figure, but we're going to tweak it. We're going to give you just enough of a perfect figure to make you want to buy it, and then later on down the line, we might get another thing, another part to add to that perfect figure. Like, I feel like it takes 3 or 4 figures to get to the perfect look that you want for a specific character with other lines. And that's irritating. That's something that I almost feel like it's cheaper to buy Mafex to get the figure you want than it is to buy 3 or 4 of other action figure lines to get that same figure with less articulation and generally a whole lot less paint. Yeah. Bottom line, I think Mafex understands a lot of things that a whole lot of other companies don't quite get, or barring that, can't exactly implement as well. They understand that the right way to do business is to serve their customer base, and that's what they do. So I see these as the best figures out there, and I also see this as a company that understands the correct way to do business. And I'm all in. I'm just really excited about Mafex. And for those of you who are sitting back thinking, yeah, but Gambit's insanely expensive now, Psylocke's insanely expensive, Wolverine, all these figures that are insane on the secondary. Folks, that Venom and Spider-Man were like $300 or $400 a piece to get them on the secondary market. I'm thinking that they're gonna reissue those figures. I can't guarantee it, of course, but I think Mafex is really paying attention, and I think they actually know that the best way for them to do business is by taking care of us. And I'm super stoked for the future. And there you go, folks. Those were more of my thoughts on Mafex. Clearly, I'm a Mafex fanboy. Let me know in the comments what you think of Mafex, and we'll go from there. As for the video description, I'm going to put links to several Mafex figures on Amazon, but I also would encourage you to check a lot of Japanese sites. They're probably going to have them cheaper. Other sites in the US might have them cheaper. You don't want to pay a ton of money for these things because, frankly, you already will pay a ton of money for these things, and we don't need to totally break the bank and have the wallet wanting to kill you. I will also, of course, as is tradition now, be putting the surprise, ridiculous thingy Amazon affiliate link in the description. So if you want to chuckle, click on that, and then once you're there, if there's something you need off of Amazon, go ahead and purchase it. That'll help out the channel, as did the fact that you watch this. And if you've subscribed, that helps huge. Just anything you do to interact with the channel, folks, I'm hugely appreciative. I thank you a ton. And now, I'm gonna go take some Tylenol because the shingles thing, it kinda hurts. So with that, have fun and happy snapping. See ya.